Hello, and welcome to HORRORific Tales. In this show, we like to celebrate the creations of independent authors and aspiring writers. Please like, subscribe, and share these videos to help get our friends as much exposure as possible. We would also appreciate it if you could support our artists by following them on their independent platforms and by purchasing their works. Details on how to do so will be in the show notes. For this episode, we're going to be reading to you an excerpt from Beneath the Tracks by W.A. Roberts. Enjoy. Forget it, Cal. Those losers are long gone. Riley bites at her lip as Cal does another turn to find them before he stomps off, muttering something about finishing the job. When they are far enough away that Riley can't hear them stomping through the forest, she crawls from behind her hiding place to examine her knee through the hole in her jeans when a hand on her shoulder makes her jump. Ace holds his hand up. "Sorry, I ducked behind a tree when I realized you weren't behind me." Riley gives him a half-hearted smile and shrugs. "It's fine. They're so slow, they didn't even see me fall and roll into the bush." "Probably a good thing," he says, glancing at her knee. It stings and feels even worse when she presses on it with her jeans to stop the bleeding. "Mama's gonna kill me when she sees these pants, but I'm fine." "Wanna head back?" He glances at her knee. The blood is already slowing down and won't bother her in a few minutes. "Nah, they won't be gone from our spot." Ace shrugs, tugging on her arm in the direction he appeared from. "I found something over here anyways." Riley's eyes light up at the thought of something new, and they make their way deeper into the forest, where the trees are so thick that they block out the sun and everything is damp to the touch. Riley isn't sure how anything grows in this part of the forest, but she doesn't doubt Ace. He has never led her astray before, at least with nothing that has gotten her in too much trouble. The worst being him talking her into sneaking out of the house late at night to follow him toward the lake to catch some glowing fish. Her mother wasn't happy to catch her sneaking back in the house at 6 in the morning, soaking wet with a plastic bag full of fish, but she was thankful that it was nothing worse. The river comes into view, and Riley draws a breath of relief. If they are close to the river, that means they aren't far from town, and that much closer to finding a trail. She is especially thankful when daylight starts poking through the trees, though a knot forms in her stomach when she realizes the sun has sunk low in the sky, and she fears they aren't going to make it home before dinner time. "Look," Ace points to the old tracks further up the hill that crosses over the river. Boards are missing, and the tracks have caved in to form a sinkhole, making it impassable. Riley raises an eyebrow in question. Surely her friend must be losing his mind. "Okay, so the bridge is a no-go, obviously, but come check out the sinkhole." Riley follows him to find that the sinkhole leads to an underground tunnel, hidden by overgrowth and piles of dirt that rested there when it caved. Its only open source is the small hole at the top that someone haphazardly attempted to close off by adding more boards. "Are you serious? Do you have any idea what's in that thing?" "Just a bunch of rocks if we're lucky." Ace shrugs like it's the most obvious thing. "The best part is no one will even know where to look." And that is the part that concerns Riley. She doesn't even know where they are exactly. She doesn't care to find out what's in the hole. She only wants to find some sign that says, "This way to the main road," so she can go home, and they can try to build their treehouse tomorrow. "But Ace," she says, following him over the mound of dirt, "the whole thing could cave in on us." He stops to really look at it, obviously trying to find a hole through her reason. The support beams are probably rotted through, and there is ivy growing inside of it, meaning who knows what other parts of nature have claimed this tunnel for themselves. She chews on her lower lip, doubting every minute of this as he shoves the most rotted board off so he can slide down and spins to show her that nothing is going to happen. "Whatever is rotted through we can replace." He waves toward the roof and sides of the tunnel. "We've got the wood from the treehouse, and we can always get more from the scrapyard." "And if there's animals in there? It's about to be winter. Who knows what creatures have decided to hibernate inside?" Ace peers through the dark. Only way to know is to actually head inside. Riley chews on her lips some more, the anxiety growing by the second as she glances around. The sun drops lower, casting shadows across the clearing that shift and sway with the trees. She scans the woods for the eyes she feels watching them when Ace appears at the entrance. "Riley, we'll only be a few minutes. Promise." The weight in her gut wars with the promise from her friend. They could pop in and then out again if the cave doesn't go that far and be heading home before she knows it. There's also the chance that Ace could lose track of time and get into all sorts of trouble if she were to leave him to explore on his own. She glances at the lengthening shadows at the edge of the forest and follows Ace inside the tunnel, looking in every direction and especially up. She does not want to come across any bats during this time of day, having read that they have sharp claws and can easily gouge your eyes out. She swallows back the wine that threatens to come out and speeds up to catch Ace. She's sure there's a safety in numbers rule somewhere. There's not a whole lot she can do about her heart jumping out of her chest, though. That is a dilemma all on its own as she looks back at the entrance. Riley rubs the sleeves of her jacket to warm herself and squints through the dark, steadily building up on them. "Ace," she whispers, reaching out to grab the back of his shirt. He lets out a long sigh as he digs into his pocket for the small flashlight he carries around with him. The light makes the whole exploration somewhat more bearable until they come across a larger room with 2 more openings on either side that break off to smaller tunnels like the one they just came through, and a large pile of blankets shoved into a corner of the tunnel. Against the back wall is what could be a pile of animal bones and discarded, filthy clothes left lying close to a fire pit. "Looks like someone's been staying here," she says, picking up an old blanket that is stained and smells of mildew and rot. She kicks at the large lump in the center to ensure it's not a dead body bundled up somewhere beneath the rubbish. Ace is already moving things around, trying to find the source of the smell, when something hits hard against the wall and ricochets off. Ace twists so fast that he lands against the wall. "What the hell was that for?" "What was what for?" Riley asks, looking for whatever hit the wall. "The rock you threw?" Riley glances around. "I didn't throw no rock. Probably came from the ceiling that is fixing to cave in." She steps closer to Ace, searching for his so-called rock when she notices an arrowhead lying in the dirt. "Look at this. Could be real old." Ace grabs it, twisting it around until he shrugs and glances at the ceiling. "You're really going to argue that this isn't better than the stupid treehouse? At least Sammy can't destroy it." Riley huffs as Ace gestures at the whole tunnel. That anxious stone in her stomach grows harder the longer she stands in the dark, with the overpowering smell making her sick. The quiet is something, though, offering some peace after their run through the forest. She can't deny that Sammy and his crew won't be able to come here and destroy it as easily as they did the treehouse. Still, "This is a really bad idea," Ace glares at her. "And the stench, how are we getting rid of that?" "We'll get some Febreze." Riley rolls her eyes, trying to hide her smirk as she looks around. There is potential, really, but it is so far out from town, and she is not so sure that someone isn't staying here. Ace is practically on the balls of his feet, waiting for her to answer until she swings her arms up. "All right, fine, but if we find a dead body..." "Definitely calling the cops." He laughs at his own joke as he pockets the arrowhead and motions toward the pile of trash in the corner. "Come on, let's see how much we can haul off in these blankets." Riley is not so sure that those moldy blankets will hold for a long trek back through the woods, or even last until they get to the nearest dumpster. "Maybe we could come back tomorrow with a barrel and pick all this stuff up." Ace folds up the trash already piled into a blanket. "We could take some of it now, but it's getting dark out." Ace shrugs, unfazed by the darkening sky outside. "Just one load." Riley sighs, realizing she isn't going to win this argument, and throws a small load into one of the bags lying by the mattress. "There." She holds it up for proof. He gapes at her. "That's all you're taking?" "Yes, because we got to be heading back home or I'm going to be grounded, and then cleanup will be really slow." Ace glares at her. "Fine, go. I'll get most of this done on my own." "Ace, come on." She stomps a foot, fully realizing she sounds like a spoiled child, but she can't leave him out here. "Go, I'll be fine." He holds the flashlight up higher and shines it in her face before going through another pile of trash. "Fine," she says, spinning toward the exit. She stops several times to see if Ace is following her or to keep from slipping in the mud as she climbs back up the hill. She certainly doesn't remember it being this hard coming down, but doesn't think much of it until she is overlooking the creek that runs on the other side of the clearing. She stops in the center of the clearing to search for the path that led them here. It'll be nightfall before she even gets out of the woods. She turns back to the tracks where she can make out Ace and his stupid flashlight climb out of the hole. She's got half a mind to holler at him to get his butt moving, but decides against it. If he doesn't want to be logical, who is she to argue with him? Let him drag the trash from that stupid tunnel all on his own, she mutters as she stalks through the woods, moving slower this time to ensure she doesn't trip and rip her knee open any more than it already is. Who really wants to clean out a stupid old tunnel anyways? She checks to see if Ace caught up to find no one behind her. Riley takes in a deep breath, debating whether or not she should be leaving him out here alone. Sure, he's got the stupid flashlight, and he knows the way back from the tracks, but what if he does get lost? She shakes the thoughts off and reminds herself that Ace is the toughest kid she knows. If anyone is going to get home on his own after dark, it's him. Even with the weight settling in her stomach, she takes another step and an even deeper breath. Trying to dislodge it from her insides, she stops once again, sure that she heard something. A light appears through the trees. For a second, she believes Ace is following her, and the pressure inside eases. But then the light disappears, and the weight grows bigger. She turns and stomps over the tree that blocks the path, being extra careful not to trip and fall. The sun sinks lower in the sky, and she is going to wind up grounded no matter what she does. Another glance over her shoulder shows that all is quiet, and she shakes her head to dispel the tears forming as she decides to forget about Ace until morning and just get going. He is such a stubborn mule that there is no telling how long he will be out here. She is not even a third of the way back when Ace hollers, "Riley!" from behind her. Turning, she squints for any sign of him. The shadows stretch over everything, making it hard to see clearly, but there are footsteps fast approaching. She goes back, moving quicker when she hears, "Riley, help! Ace!" she hollers, speeding up. Her heart pounds so loud in her ears that it drowns out every other sound as she runs back through the forest. Her shirt gets snagged on a twig near the clearing, and she stumbles, landing hard on the bark of the tree. "Right!" The words are cut off with a sharp scream that fills the night air and sends a chill up her spine. She pauses, swearing the scream came from right in front of her. Silence takes its place, and Riley takes a deep breath to calm down. "It's not real. Ace is just playing a game," she mutters. Some cruel joke, she thinks as she rips her shirt from the tree and makes for the clearing, ducking past limbs and jumping over fallen branches so fast that when she does trip up, she doesn't feel the effects even as she pushes forward to burst through the tree line to find that clearing empty. "Ace!" She runs to the center, circling to find where he might have disappeared. There are other trails, hundreds of possibilities, and she spins again to face the river and the forgotten tunnel. "Ace!" Nothing. Silence reverberates back at her. Shit, shit, shit. Her breaths come in short gasps as she starts for the tunnel, hoping to find him down there, just laughing at how scared she is at this moment. She turns her head every which way, expecting something to pop out at her any moment. The shadows close in fast as she climbs down the hill. Her feet stop suddenly when she spots a figure through the trees that can't possibly be Ace. The shadow is large and round, and that smell of rotten garbage from the tunnel comes closer to her. She ducks down, expecting to hide in the bush much like she did when Sammy and his goons were chasing them, and stumbles across Ace's flashlight. The light is cracked and covered in the dew that has settled on the ground, and something sticky that smells much the same as the rotten odor that clings to her nose. Riley drops the flashlight, frantically wiping the residue off on her jeans. The woods have gone quiet, not even a critter scurrying through the bushes. She strains to hear the slightest noise. Footsteps, breathing, Ace. Her friend is in trouble, and she is hiding in the bushes like a coward. She takes another couple of calming breaths and crawls out of the bushes. This time, there's no shadow coming toward her, which she might have imagined, and the woods have gone dark. After another glance around, she dives for the flashlight to find that the goop covers nearly all of it. But with a couple of clicks and a small shake, the light flickers on. The mist that has settled over the woods makes it even harder to see through the trees, so she throws the beam of light in the direction of rustling in the bushes and catches a glimpse of something crawling toward her. "Ace?" she says, getting to her feet. "You there?" Silence replies, and she cranes her neck to get a better look, hoping to find Ace in the shadows. A pair of glowing green eyes that definitely don't belong to her friend stare back at her. Well, we hope you enjoyed our latest horrific tale. If you'd like to keep up to date, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. Also, follow us on our social media pages. You can also show your support for the channel by going to our merchandise store, picking up some items there. Please also take a moment to support our contributing friends who kindly lend their talents to this show. Check out the links in the description as to how you can do this. Until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.